favorite part of the process is seeing it in my head. Once I draw out my list and get everything done, that's the process of like making whatever's in your head on a paper, and then from that paper structure to actual physically getting it done, that's the process behind the scenes. That's the fun part of behind the scenes, because I'm totally okay with being alone. I love it. But the best part is when you see what's in your head to on the paper to physically like being real and bringing it to life, whatever it is. Whether it be like a teepee or a pair of quilled earrings that you made, because I made these bad boys. Whatever it is that's being created is actually a physical being, and you put that spirit into it, bring it to life. That is the magical moment, and you feel good about it. It is nice when we go to different camps and then we see our teepees all over, and some places will have like 10 of our teepees or 13 of our teepees, and then our kids, they walk by and they're like, what the heck, we made that? That was like what, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and they still have them. And I was like, yeah. I feel good, I feel appreciated. It's nice when, you know, we get compliments of, hey, we got a teepee off you, or we see them at the schools we drive by. So proper care for the different things that are made. We usually keep them in a bucket if they're made, or else in our house we have a closet so they're rolled up, the ones that we use for like our ceremonies or whatever. They can't be in a damp place, they'll get molded. They can't be put away wet because they'll get molded. And just like quill work, they can't be left out in the rain or in the sun. Different items have to be cared for appropriately, that way they last forever, and they could last a very long time. And it was time to become a full-time entrepreneur when last year, this time, I had actually gotten into a car accident in Rapid City. Driver went through a red light, and this guy had a green light. We were at a stoplight, and so this guy hit this guy and then smashed right into us. And I was in the back seat. Bill and my mom were in the front, and they took the hit pretty hard. And I seen the vehicle, and I had my laptop on my legs. Akito was sitting beside me, so I don't know, instinct just automatically tried to push her back, and I punched her in the face by accident. I didn't mean to. And I was like, I'm sorry, baby. It's kind of funny now because it's over, but in the moment, it was not funny. It was a nightmare. It was really scary. And my top lip went through my teeth. From there, we ended up both having concussions, and we couldn't get checked out right away. Severe headaches, so I ended up taking a lot of Advil. I got scared because one of my friends is like a doctor, and they're like, hey, how many did you take? And I was like, probably 8 in a very short time. And they're like, okay, you can't sleep because if you have concussion, you could die. I was scared, and I was like, hey, I can't die. Holy crap, I have so much to do with my life. And then so almost 2 days went by and I didn't sleep, and I finally fell asleep, and for maybe 15 minutes, and when I went to sleep, I dreamt that everything I have on my list, things to do before you die, you need to do them now. You need to go to school, you need to start your business, you need to get things going and start now. And I woke up and I was just freaking out, and right from that moment I cried and smudged myself. I was like, holy crap. And so I started going on my list, and nobody really knows about my list. That's my super private list, things to do before I die. So I applied myself that day. I looked for school, I need to get into school, I need to learn how to start my business, what do I need to do, what do I need to learn? And I got accepted. As soon as I applied, it was a weekend, but once they got back on Monday, they called me and I got accepted through Gabriel Dumont, and that was super awesome. I did that last year and completed it. Woo-hoo. Once you know, you know, and sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes things come in a way, in an angle where you don't see it coming, and when you do and you're shown different things, get on it. Don't waste your time, because if you feel the need that you need to get your work out there, do it. Don't wait. You don't need to wait till you're in an accident and scared, like, oh my God, what if I die? Because we're all gonna die. That's the reality of the world and everyone in it. So all the things that you want to do, don't wait. Get on it. It's balancing the life with running a business and personal. It's kind of like we'll have our things that I have to do because I'll have my lists. But then when you run a business, that's like your public side of your world. People don't really see it because you're working at home and whatever, but your work is going out into the world. Because of our spiritual side, sometimes we'll get a call in the middle of the night like, hey, we need you to come over here and help. So we have to drop what we're doing and go and help, because that's what we do when you're a helper, because we're not anything special or above anybody. And so to find a balance, healthy communication, it's a big major factor. And having your family, you know, support each other with whatever's going on. Say we're called to go over here, and then we have things that need to be done over here. Like right now we have 5 little baby pugs that are, you know, got to get taken care of from the kids. So we're here, and that's a part of our home life, but that's, you know, part of the balance because we're working, right? And so communication is key for everything, and it's so important. I strongly recommend to learn how to communicate properly, or get therapists to talk to, you know, because self-growth is so important, and nobody is going to give you those tools that will help you. You have to get them. You have to find them to help yourself, to help others, to showcase the success story, to impact what I'm doing. Sometimes we'll go to a powwow or a gathering or a culture camp, and we'll see several of our tipis up. And to people, they'll walk by and like, oh, cool. But I'll walk by and I'll be like, whoa, man, that's like blood, sweat, and tears right there. And it took a lot just to get to where it's at, and a lot of sacrifices, because to build your business and to build your product, you actually have to sacrifice a lot of your personal life to grow and develop all these different skills. And when you go somewhere and people are utilizing your gifts of your creation, your creativity, and they're talking about you like, oh, hey, this is who did this, and then they recommend us, and then we get other, you know, gigs that will be doing other orders for other people. That makes a big impact on us. And the reason why is, like, it is good money. It is really good money. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, yeah, cha-ching. For a lot of the things that we do, we're not covered. So when we have our traditional Sundance or ceremonies, we cover them out of pocket. And sometimes they cost a lot, like $17,000 to $20,000, because you pay for rooms, your singers, some of your helpers. To get the lodge built up, you're having sweats, you know, and then you're feeding your helpers, you're taking care. So there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. And then to take care of your own family too, to find that balance. And sometimes it's a tough one, because, you know, sometimes we'll get your heat's getting cut off. Like, okay, so should we have a couple back-to-back sweats, or should we pay our heat, right? Or should we go and do all the sewing, and then, but we have to pay for this. So there's a lot of like give and take that you have to adjust and readjust and find that balance and make it work, because it is worth it. And you'll see a lot of the growth that other people have too, because that's just one section of our lives, like the tipi-making, and then the other section is like going into the bushes and picking the medicines and teaching people like this, and it's nice, you know. I wish that the young people want to learn, and there's only very few people that are open to teaching, right? And so, because I know for a fact, when I tried to learn, it was difficult, because there wasn't anybody that was willing to teach, to share, to open that. They kind of like pull back, and like they're scared because you're gonna get their gigs or whatever. And it is important, and you know, we do have it open, like we're gonna be at the gym, so a lot of people know that we're there, but I've noticed that there's not a very big interest. A few times we have been called and asked like, hey, can you guys come to this school and teach us everything you know, and we'll give you a pouch of tobacco. And I had to draw the line there because we're not a spirit, and it took a lot to learn what we know, and we are open to sharing and teaching and the youth, because the youth should be taught everything, all the tools laid out for them free, all the songs, the traditional knowledge, the lodges, that should be available to all the young people freely, and to be available for everybody to like access, right? Because if we were younger and we had those skills available for us when we were young children growing up, that'd be pretty awesome, because we'd be way more advanced to the things that are on our bucket list. We'd be already like way down the line. But to see the growth, and I hope that one day that the younger ones do learn and want to learn the knowledge of sitting there and creating, and to learn the skills. And for what I've learned over the years, I've kind of learned the hard way. So I learned how to make things a lot easier, faster, quicker to get through the processes, so it's not such a heartache or a backbreaker, because there's a lot that goes into it. But there's also ways to make things easier and a quicker process. And I hope that more young people want to develop those skills, because why not? Traditionally, like back in the teepee days, originally we lived in teepees, but they were not made of canvas. They were made of hides, and it was like 22 hides, and they're about 16 to 18 feet. And there's only a few in the world that exist today. Most of them are in museums, and I'm pretty sure one, they bid them, right? They do auction, like $1 million. Like, that's great. But that is one of our goals, that eventually we'll get there. We're just busy with everything else that we have on our mind right now. But yeah, I hope that one day the young people reach out and want to learn, because why not? I'd be happy and proud of them to develop the skills and to have that interest, because it's been pretty hurtful that people just don't care. It's such a almost unappreciated work field, where it's just like people walk by and like, oh yeah, whatever. But when we walk by, we're just like, oh my god, that's like, look at that, holy crap. And then there's different sizes, so sometimes you'll see like a 16-footer, then a 20-footer, then a 30-footer, and 35-footer, and we're just like, yeah, we made that. And to take pride in it, because why not? Tipi making can help you connect to culture and your identity. When you go to every community, almost every ceremony, whether it be Lakota, Nakota, Dakota, Cree, Saulteaux, Ojibwe, all these different cultures of First Nation individuals worldwide, you would see teepees. And a lot of times they're just built different. Some are made a little different, different styles. Some are painted, some are not. Some have different structures of how they make them and their own reasoning of why they would do it. But globally, wherever you would go, originally the teepee came from like a Lakota, like the Lakota, Nakota, Dakota Nation, and it's worldwide used, and it helps connect all people like to their home fire base and the spirit of that home fire. And that is acknowledged in a lot of different communities. They just say it like, well, this is a Cree style teepee, this is a Blackfoot style teepee. But all teepees originally came from the Lakota, Nakota, Dakota people, and they're still structured the same. Some have different meanings of the different poles, and that's beautiful, because they all have that creation story, that original creation story, and it's beautiful. And that original style, like let's say back in the teepee days, they were originally made of the hides, so they would be shorter, right? But then you would have your mom, your grandma, your grandpa, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, aunties, uncles, your puppies, your cats, your horses outside, like that's your home fire. Your most loved, treasured goes inside there. And so keeping everything tied together and understanding that it's still like a real thing. It's not like they only exist in museums. They're alive and well. They would come in with their offering and explain why they want to learn. Maybe they dreamt about it, maybe they feel pulled that they need to learn this. Who knows? But I would tell them that. And part of what they would do next is they would come and they would apprentice me. They would sit there and they would learn. So let's say it takes a whole night to sit there and cut out one tipi. They would be there the whole night and they'd cut that tipi out. If I do one, you do one. You watch, you learn. You watch, you learn. That way, to give what I didn't have physically, spiritually, I was shown. And that helped me bring that spiritual being alive. But the physical part of it wasn't there. So I would share that and transfer that to the individual and guide them along the way. But then they, in turn, when they're ready, I would request that they would fast for that. Because a lot of the teachings that we carry, we are to earn what we learn and not just take, But that is important. And for a lot of the young ones, we don't expect that. Like some young fasters are like 10, 13. Those are really young. But it's not required. Like it's someday, let's say they'd fast even from the morning till lunchtime, right? They're good. Because during that time, we ask them to pray. Ask them to pray. What are they asking for? Do they want to do that just for fun? Or for now? Or forever? Or to pass that down the line? What do they want to do? Do they want to see their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, to build those structures, to build those homes, to keep that going? And that's what we would love to see.